Hello and welcome to a promotional review of the game Life of Fly, which has been kindly provided to me by EpiXR Games, which is the publisher slash developer of this game. Released on the 14th of January 2021 for a price of £12.49. Quite a large file size at 5.94 gigabytes, and the completion estimate is less than 1 hour. So it's an indie game adventure. Let's see what it has to offer, as most of the games that EpiXR Games have released so far have been relatively easy. Games like Airy, if you've played any of those. So let's see how this one differs, because the last one I believe they did was Air Bounce, which I did a guide for here on my channel. If you haven't seen it and you haven't played it, go check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so it's inverted controls for the left and the right stick, or whatever this thing in the middle is. I'm guessing we're a fly, and we're collecting
what it would be like to be a fly?
Speech around the room. That's basically the principle of it. I don't see much else beyond that.
What we feel, what we do, what we think.
If this is the entire game, start to finish, at £12.49, that is really going to affect my review score for this game.
Why would you?
Overall, the assets are okay. I'd say it doesn't look exactly 4K. But if this is the entire game, start to finish, then
and well, we're also not known
it's very much like the other Airy games. I have no problem with that. It's just it's very limited content for the price that you're asking for it.
Anyway, take my word for it. Some of us are actually
This feels a lot like a game that should be set at less than 10 for sure. I would say 8 at most. $4.99 is probably a better pricing for it.
Well, some of us at least.
So far, I've not seen anything that's substantial to make it a must-buy game for this year for sure. It's very basic and very average. It's just a auto-scrolling camera around a 3D environment that occasionally plays speech voice lines when you hit these points, and there's not much else to it.
I will introduce some of them to you, and each one is going to tell a story from their life.
Music's very chill. There's no enemies or anything to like really dodge besides the furniture and the ornaments. I guess that's the biggest obstacle you have in the game. But besides that, there's not a lot more to this. The people who are going to be interested in this are mainly going to be achievement hunters, I would say. Casually, I don't see many people picking this up.
Well, almost.
It's one of those games that take less than an hour, probably 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And it's only going to be picked up by achievement hunters. If that's the case, lowering the price would definitely increase the sales for this game. I think I'm only going to do one level in my review here. I don't want to drag this out too long if this is all the content that the game has so far. So yeah, it's very limited in terms of its content. I'm guessing there's more areas you go to.
We'll see that all of us have our very own problems, dreams, and ambitions.
Kind of has a little bit of backstory to it with the voice lines, but not really much else.
Enjoy your time as a fly.
Alright, that's the whole level. Okay. I will give my review now, because that was extremely short for one level. It starts out like the Airy Castle game, at the start where it gives like a panoramic. But there's not much else to it. It's very jittery sometimes, like the frame rate there is horrible with the amount of... Like here it's fine, but when you go closer to these things, it starts jittering and it doesn't feel as smooth as it should.
Therefore, there is no time to waste.
It's basically a auto-scroller to the end. That's the entire premise of the game, I'm guessing.
We all live for the moment. We all do the best in any given situation and don't think about tomorrow.
Is this guy just going to constantly give, like, inspirational quotes the whole time, or is he going to have any other input but that? Because I don't see whether... Okay, over there. I think I'm going to give this game a... It's very average. I have to give it less than a 7, I'm sorry. But to me, this is such a limited game, and it's so much like the others. I enjoyed the others. When you were a bird. This is... It seems like you've used a lot of the same mechanics and assets that you already had, and this music I know is in your previous game as well. So I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's nothing spectacular, it's no masterpiece by a long shot, but from what I can see in terms of gameplay, what it offers the player, it's so limited that I don't think it's worth the price that you're asking for it. By a long stretch. Movement, like if this is your entire movement system, it's so limited. It's one word that I would describe this game as, limited. It doesn't feel 4K. It doesn't feel like it should be for the enhanced range of games on the Series X for sure. And there's not really a lot I can say about it else but that. If you want a quick and easy 1000G to do, this is probably the game. It's less than an hour, but the pricing is the one thing that's going to put a lot of people off. If you reduced it to, say, $8 or $5.99, people would probably buy the game. A lot more people.
How do we find all the juicy goods that are just waiting for us to be discovered?
I like the game. I just think it's very much like the others, but there's not really much changed. Just the premise of what's flying.
We're just flying around while the opportunity itself,
I mean, you could do that with every different type of flying creature and create a game. It wouldn't be difficult. You could probably use a lot of the same assets you already have to make another game just like this with a different kind of flying creature. You could have a bumblebee, you could have a wasp. It really doesn't matter. I feel like you should stick to the bird games, though. Those games presented a lot more content, I feel, than this did. It was okay. I don't think it's one of the worst games I've ever played, but it's definitely limited in terms of the content that it has, and that's all I've got to say about it. 6.5 is what I'm sticking with. There's not really much character, story arc. There's just this guy that talks in the background consistently all the way through. Besides that, there's not much else. I'll finish off this level and I'll call it there, because I don't know what else I can say about this. I feel like I've said everything I need to about the game.
And all it needs from us is to be brave too. Brave enough to take this opportunity.
Where the hell? Oh. That's also annoying that you've got the same sort of background for the orbs. That they're the same color as the wall and the lighting and the character you're actually flying, so it's difficult to see where you're going. But I'm going to leave it off there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.